Patrik Hutzel from intensivecarehotline.com. In this short video, I want to tell you about my email consulting option. So if you're here and watching this, you're thinking about sending an email and get your questions answered in an email. I want to quickly outline the advantages of answering your questions in an email. So you might think, no, I didn't just repeat what you said. You only pay $27 and that's it. You can't get carried away because it's in writing and you can't forget. You can forward it to a friend, to a family member, or even read it out to your loved one when they are in intensive care, or you may choose to read out parts of it. You may prefer to read because you're not good at talking over the phone or on Skype. It's very easy signing up with PayPal, and I don't even know your phone number. If you choose to, you may want to even not give out your own name, or you can ask about someone without naming them. It's impersonal. There's no voice for me to go by. There are some disadvantages of email reading as well. It's not a live conversation. You have to give very specific questions. And what if you don't know how to apply this information? You might have to wait for the answer, and you may want more. And I also want to quickly give you the advantages of a phone reading. In a phone reading or a Skype reading or a Skype consultation, you get to vent, you get to explain. You get to know me, and you get to know the type of person you're talking to. You can also build one question upon another. You call, I answer, and we're on. And you don't have to set up another payment because you're a customer. You get very useful information very quickly that isn't necessarily in your question. And for your information, I don't need names or any places you live to give you a direct or detailed answer. The diagnosis and the prognosis, if it's not obvious, is all I need from you, and of course specific questions. You can give whatever information you want, of course. It's your choice, but it's not necessary. Is the question about diagnosis, about prognosis, about induced coma, about not waking up, about ventilation, about tracheostomy, about a brain or head injury, about an end-of-life situation, about treatment limitations, about withdrawal of treatment, about DNR, do not resuscitate, or NFR, not for resuscitation, that kind of thing, and that's it. You will get an answer within 2 days at the most of the time within 1 day. Here are some good questions and questions that my clients have asked in the past. For example, my critically ill loved one isn't waking up after an induced coma. They are now 3 days off the sedation and they are still not waking up. How long will it take? Another reader has sent this email. My critically ill loved one has been diagnosed with cancer and is now in intensive care. The doctors are very negative and they say it's poor prognosis and we need to prepare for the worst. I don't believe it. Is there hope? What do we need to do? Another good question is, my critically ill loved one has been on the ventilator and in an induced coma for 1 week now, and the doctors are saying that they need to do a tracheostomy. Should we consent to a tracheostomy? Another good question is, my critically ill loved one has been in intensive care for 3 weeks now. They have a tracheostomy and they are still on the ventilator. How long will it take for my loved one to be weaned off the ventilator? Another good question is, my critically ill loved one sustained a severe head and brain injury after a car accident. They are not waking up, and the doctors say it's poor prognosis and we should prepare for the worst. Will my loved one wake up, and if so, how long will it take? Another question we get quite frequently is, the doctors have told me that my critically ill loved one has a poor prognosis, and they think that a withdrawal of treatment or a limitation of treatment is quote-unquote in the best interest for my critically ill loved one. What does it mean, and should I consent or object? Another question we get is, the doctors have told me that they don't want to resuscitate my critically ill loved one if their heart was to stop, and they asked me to sign a do not resuscitate or DNR form or an NFR, not for resuscitation order. What does it mean, and should I consent or object? Another question I get quite frequently is, my boyfriend has been in intensive care with pancreatitis and multi-organ failure. He has been there for 2 weeks now and is not getting better. We live together, but we are not married, and we have been together for over 3 years. We have an 18-month-old son. Can I be the power of attorney or next of kin for my boyfriend, or are his parents his power of attorney or next of kin? Another question I got recently was, my 63-year-old husband is in intensive care after he had an enema on the ward followed by severe bleeding. He now has sepsis. He's on the ventilator, and the doctors are telling me that they want to limit and withdraw treatment because he won't survive. I have objected. The doctors say that I'm making bad decisions for my husband by wanting to keep him alive. The hospital has taken away my power of attorney, and they appointed a surrogate decision maker who will act the way the doctors want. I'm extremely worried that my husband will die because of their decision. I believe the doctors have taken my power of attorney away because they want to cover up the mistakes the hospital has made on the ward when giving him an enema that led to bleeding and him going into intensive care. What do I do? Help! So, those are the type of questions you can ask, and I just wanted to give you some examples so you get a feel for what people write in for. However, it's entirely up to you, of course, how you want to frame your question, and I can tell you that there's no question in ICU that I can't answer and that I can't help you with. It's no situation that I haven't seen in nearly 20 years intensive care nursing experience. My email consulting is language-based and it's literal. Your answer will be based on your exact question. You can also check out our Your Questions Answered section at the top of this website, because there's hundreds of questions that I have answered for my clients. If you pay $27 to get your questions answered and you ask more than one question in your writing, like, my father has been in intensive care for 2 weeks and is not waking up after he had a stroke. He was in an induced coma and he's still on a ventilator. My question is, how long will it take him to wake up? Do you think he will have any quality of life if he gets out of intensive care? That is a mixed question with thinking, feeling and doing, and they don't always accurately mix. They should be separate from one another. If your question comes in like that, I tend to answer the first question, but it will phrase it in such a way as to include as much as possible of the other. You can always ask more later. So, go down now, click the Buy Now button, get your email consulting, and I will answer your question within 24 to 48 hours. Thank you. Take care. You can always give me a call as well. Please find my international phone numbers on the Contacts tab. You can always have a quick chat to me before you click the Buy Now button, and if you want questions answered before you sign up for email consulting, please give me a call. anytime. Thank you.